Hey, how you doing? How's everyone doing? So, another Tuesday, another laundry with Winnie live for you. So, definitely wanted to answer quite a few questions today. And let me know if this is useful to you. Let me know if you like it by liking the, the video. Let me know. So, definitely, my name is Winnie Chidonu. I am a senior product manager. I have been doing product management for the last 7 years, and I decided to start this channel and these videos to really answer questions and work with persons who want to understand what product management is, what do we do, and just have a good understanding of what product management is about, so that you can launch into that career if this is what you're into, or you can yeah, that's really it. So, with that said, what I want to go through today is quite a few questions. So the first questions is, what does a product manager do? So I'll also be going through what master's degrees are good for product managers, because that's also a good topic. We always want to get advanced education. Do I need a master's degree? Should I? Could I? Would I? I want to go through what is software requirements, because that's something that's important. So I'm from the tech space and I understand software, building app, building websites. So I want to answer that as an additional question. And then I want to go through what are the differences. So I say this to me now. What is the difference between a product manager and a product owner? What's the difference between a product manager and a business manager? And what is the difference between a product manager and a project manager? So definitely, if you have any of these questions, stay tuned to this video, to this live. Share it with your friends who you think would be interested in having answers to these questions as well. So while you're here, subscribe if you find this video to be useful, so that you'll always be notified every Tuesday when I go live. And also when I share videos in between throughout the week. All right, so what does a product manager do? This one I actually took some notes and prepared for, because it's a big topic and I want to be clear, and I want to make sure that I had all the facts, all the facts. So, all right, here we go. So, a product manager role does everything that is needed. So, like everything that is needed to ship the product, that is what the product manager does. That's what the role is about. It is from just the ideation to actually delivering the product. Is doing everything. And it might sound ridiculous, but because you're working with a team, so obviously other people are doing things, which is good. But what product management is anything that is needed, that is missing, that's where you kind of come in, right? In the whole development life cycle. So when I talk about product management, yes, I focus on software product management, but also I don't want you to get it twisted. You can use product management in any aspect of your life. I've used product management to create my Airbnb as a side income, and I've used my MVP model, which was not my MVP model, it's the MVP model that I spoke about in another video about what is an MVP. So, what does a product manager do? So, a product manager needs to do user and market research. So this is golden. You can't just go out and say, haha, I'm going to build something. You have to understand what the users want. You have to do surveys. You have to do interviews. You collect data. You do research. You Google stuff. You see if people are making comments, oh, they're trying to figure things out. So you do that kind of research and you do a focus group and you find out exactly what it is that a customer, your ideal customer, wants, right? You also have to understand your market and what it is that your competitors have to offer. So once you understand what customers want and what your competitors have to offer, then you can come up with what the right product is to solve the problem that your customers have. So one of the main things are what the first thing that a product manager does is market and user research. The second thing that a product manager does is business strategy. So you have to invest time in understanding the company's business strategy that you're working with. It's super important that whatever it is that you develop fits into that business strategy. If it is that you're going to do something far out, it's not going to make the revenues that the business wants if that's what they're aiming for. So you have to make sure that whatever it is that you're putting to the table fits into your organization's strategy. The next thing, after you kind of said, yes, this is what the customers want, this is what I'm going to build, woo, woo, is my job done? Nah. A product manager now has to work with the design team to come up with the user experience. So what I've done in the past is I've wireframed like the entire experience. Like I've said, you know what? When you click this button, this happens. When you go here, that happens. And this is the flow. And then I create a little prototype. And I say, click, 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 click. Yo, I have fun with wireframes. That kind of sounds silly. But I have a lot of fun with wireframing. So, but then you kind of hand that over to the design team. Or what some people do is and what I did as well, is I tested it with people. So accompanying with the design team, we went out and we tested it with people. We said, oh, well, this is the prototype. Do you like this? Do you want text here? Does this button work for you? You know, does this kind of rudimentary design, do you think that this is the best way for you to accomplish these tasks? Once it is, which goes back to your user research, because who's going to use this? The users. So it goes back to that, having that users touching, feeling, accessing your product. So if you had a really excellent design team with you, they will do this research with the customers to find out what is the best user interface that is required for your solution. Now that you have your design, so I'm going to talk about Agile. You're always going to hear me talk about Agile. And this is all thrown into some tool that you're using, what it is that you're building. And we can talk about that in a later video. But once it is that you have the design, you now work with a development team. So your development team is actually going to build out what was designed by your design team. So you're going to be working with them to create user stories. You're going to have to ideally tell them what it is that the customer expects and what the business expects from the solution. And then you're going to ensure that they are solving the problem. Developers, really good developers, can let you know whether your designs are factual, whether they can be built. And I usually include my developers a lot while I'm doing the designs with the design team, because it's important that the design team build something that can design something that can be built. Once the development team has built the solution, the next thing that is done is that you actually test it out. You go to market, you launch it. And then you will adapt the product after it is in the market, being used by real people, and you'll see what needs to be fixed. You'll see what other development work or how to enhance the solution that you have built. The next thing that we do as product managers is it's not done when you get the product out, sadly. Some people are like, oh, but the product's out there, am I done? Nah, bro. Nah. It's like you're like halfway there, which is it's super rough. But you now have to look at the analysis. You now have to look at are the click-through rates of the product, are people stuck at a certain, you need to make sure that you have triggers and events throughout the application so you can see how the application is doing. But also when the application or your solution or your product is in the world, you need to, is it selling the way we want to? Are we making the right profits from this product? Is there a reason why people are buying or are not buying the product? And so that you can enhance the product and you can say, okay, how do we make this better? How do we make this grow? And you monitor your analysis as you go forward, and as I said, figuring out how and where to improve it. Yeah. Then you start all over again. You design again. You develop again. You watch it again. I also, just additional bonus to that, one of the things that I also did really regularly is I work with my engagement leads to do push up to work with them to come up. How do we engage the customers that we have? So how do we ensure that persons on our product get the right push notifications, get the right so ensure that they come in on a regular basis. Then we'd also have work with our marketing team. Are we marketing this in the right way? So you're always dipping your fingers in different aspects, and it's not like a pushy, like this is my pro. This is actually part of your job to allow to work with these different persons, your designers, your developers, your engagement persons, your marketing people, the business itself, the stakeholders. Ensure that the product that you have developed is actually the best product, and also obviously your customers. All right, so following up on that, if that so far, if you found what I've said so far to be useful, as I said, don't forget to subscribe. The subscriptions, they help me, they help you, but then you'll know when I say something new, and this is something I want to do regularly. So the next thing is, people say the product manager is the mini CEO. Like you're the CEO of a product. You're the CEO of a product. This is kind of going into like, and I kind of take offense to that. In essence, I used to be like, I'm the CEO, but a CEO has like all of this. Like when a CEO like barks, like everybody like what, because like he signs the checks. A product manager, you kind of like, you don't manage anybody. You manage a product. And I think I spoke about this in another video. I'll link to it if I find it. But it's about the product and kind of motivating people to see your vision and to execute what it is that you're trying to do. A lot of what you do is to get rid of roadblocks, working with your project managers to do reporting, and to also ensure that what is being built is the right thing. So, as I said, a lot about it is motivating the team. Then the next thing that you're doing is defining what success looks like. So, and you're creating the vision and the mission of the product. And if you're lucky, you're also the product owner some of the time. Then you're breaking down that mission and vision, and you're creating user stories, and so you're doing a lot of that kind of groundwork and grunt work, which is not really CEO work. It's not like people, doing what you tell them because you're the boss. It's more like working together as a team to develop something that wasn't there before, and we're doing it because it's the right thing to do. You can agree or disagree in the comments. I will respond accordingly. But yeah, this is how I see it. So when I was like kind of doing some background research on this, they were saying like product manager's role is different whether they're depending on the size of the company they're in. And as I said, I agree with some things. I disagree. Like I think the product manager's role is dependent on the person. So I've worked in startups, I've worked in large companies, and the role has been pretty much the same for me because of my personality and my approach to the role. So I'm very hands-on, and that's just me. So someone who is less hands-on may act differently in a larger company because they have more support, and maybe they will neglect to do certain things, or they would allow the person who is responsible for it to do it. So nevertheless, I feel like being a product manager, as I said, what you do all day, what is done is you manage the life of the product. You ensure that the product being built is the right product by motivating and working with a team of multifunctional, talented people to create the vision that you have set out. That's what the product manager does on a day-to-day basis. Ensure that their customers love it and adapt, iterate, and make better products again. That's what a product manager does. Okay, so again, I'm Winnie. This is Launch It with Winnie Live. This is Launch It with Winnie. And definitely, if you have any questions outside of the ones I've come up with, ask away. I definitely love talking about product management and I love managing products. So the next question is, what master's degree do you need to be a product manager? So first and foremost, do you need a master's degree to be a product manager? Product manager. So I'm going to shout out to Celicia. When I was making that decision to get a master's degree, so I am in the middle of doing my master's degree at IUBH. I wrote an article when I was on my website, winnie.com, when I was trying to decide. And I had found different schools and I went through this whole process of filtering. And I was really trying to find product management masters. I couldn't find one I could afford. So there were great ones with established universities, but it's not like computer science or mathematics where everybody has a degree in in product management. It's only like the forward thinking schools really had it honing on it. So it wasn't something I could readily say, bam, I'm going to do a product management master's. So you then had to start thinking, for a product manager, what is it that I need to learn? So for me, I had a computer science background. So I had a very technical background. So as you may or may not know, product managers can come from anywhere. You can adapt from anything. It's one of those roles that you can just dive in and figure it out. So it's fact. So I had a very technical background. And even if you look at product management, you look at the job descriptions, you can see you can have an engineering or business because you need to merge the two worlds. You need to speak tech. So when you speak to a developer, you're like, for this user story, it needs to be scalable, or the solution, the user needs to be able to do blah, blah, blah. The developer needs to understand you. And then when you go to the business and you need to be able to speak their language and say, how can it increase revenue? How will it affect ARPU? Why are you developing this feature into this application? So you need to be bilingual. And to do so, as I said, I already had that technical background because I had done software engineering and all those tech stuff, ComSci stuff. And I was in the business world and I had learned the lingo. So I felt like the best thing that for me as the mini CEO of the company was to do an MBA. And this is also because of conversations with people I've learned, people who were above me. They also had a business background. And I learned in the organization that I was in to grow. It wasn't the technical people that were growing, but it was the business people, because you now needed to learn how to manage people, to actually be that CEO. So this, I'm just kind of paraphrasing as to this is my circumstance and this is why I came to my conclusions. Your environment may be completely different. And I guess that what I'm getting at is that you have to look at what your goals are. Are you trying to grow in your organization? Are you trying to leapfrog to another organization? Are you trying to start a career? And depending on where you are in your career, you will need to make the best decision about what master's degree works for you. But I would definitely recommend that if you're in your mid-career, mid is kind of a stretch. If it is that you've done 5-7 years of your career in product management and you want to get to the next level and you're in a more business-focused environment, I would recommend an MBA, because this will give you the theoretical understanding of the business that you're in. And then when on the job, you will be able to understand and do more of the practical things. So I am halfway through my MBA, I'd say halfway-ish, my MBA. And I've learned so many things about leadership, about macroeconomics, about innovation, that when I bring it back into my product management lifestyle and my product management scope, as I see my product differently, and all the information that you gather from these different educational sources definitely enhances your ability to create good products. So, in summary, do I believe you require an MBA or a master's degree to be a product manager? No. I do believe that based on whatever environment you are in, you should consider it if it is a requirement to grow, or if you personally want that new information as a part of what you're doing. Secondly, what MBA would I recommend? I would recommend, well, what masters I'd recommend? I'd recommend an MBA if you're coming from a technological background. And I would probably recommend a management of information system or something a bit more technical if you have the qualifications to do so, if you're coming from a more of a business background. Maybe even not even a master's, getting some courses in Agile, maybe on Udemy or Coursera or something. Understanding the Google Analytics and Firebase and getting some training on that as well. So you understand, getting some understanding of the different tools, whether it be Jira or DevOps. So just doing kind of like a cocktail of different things that you use in the role, and understanding how it is to create and develop products, I think, is a good solution for something coming from a business background. Okie dokie. So let me know what you think so far. Put in the comments. Do you like what I'm saying? Do you think it's a load of crap? I'd love to know what your opinion is. I definitely want this to be a conversation, not a monologue. I know I'm pretty new to this, so a lot of what I will be saying is kind of like a monologue because there's nobody here talking to me because I'm pretty new to YouTube. However, leave it in the comments. I'll come back and I'll definitely respond. Subscribe to my channel. I want to grow with you and I want to train you. Anyone who's like super excited about product management, anybody who's super excited about building something, building products, and you're not sure where to start, I am definitely a really awesome resource because I've been doing this for a very long time and I'm open and willing to share everything that I've learned with you. So definitely reach out. My email address is in the description. Winnie@winniegw.com. You can hit me up on LinkedIn. I will respond. No, I'm not done. I promise to talk about more, but definitely a reminder to like if you haven't liked yet and to subscribe if you haven't subscribed. All right. So, what are software requirements? Like, it's not even a bland question. It's real questions, right? So, what are software requirements? Cool. So, when it is that you go out to build software, you have an idea, you see a problem, right? You see a problem. This pen, this marker thingy, it's not ideal. And you think the physical whiteboard over there is obsolete. And you've looked at the digital solutions out there for replacing the physical whiteboard with a virtual whiteboard, and you find it to not give the right kind of flavor and not adequately replace the physical one. And so you have decided that you have come up with an idea to solve this whiteboarding issue. Cool. That's great, but without structuring requirements, the developer will not know how to build what it is that you have come up with. So in the agile world, requirements are written as user stories. So we write it in the way to say, as a user, I want blah, 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 so that I can blah, blah, blah. So in this scenario, we're saying, as an executive, I I would like a virtual whiteboarding solution so that I can clearly communicate my ideas in virtual meetings to the participants. Right? So that's huge. And with some tools, they have the different levels, they have epics, they have features. Sometimes they mix and decide that one's bigger than the other. Like, I'm not getting into that debate. But for this example, let's just say the epic is the biggest, right? So that would be your epic. That's I want this solution that will help with whiteboarding in meetings. Then you're gonna have features. So a feature could be whiteboard. I would like a special pen. So the feature will be, as a user, I want a special pen to use on the whiteboard. Another feature would be I want a whiteboard that I can use a special pen or my finger so that I can communicate efficiently in meetings. And then the third feature could be I would like there to be some kind of thing that records what I write so we can have transcripts. So now you have the big epic, which is a solution for whiteboarding. And you have these three features. If you think of like an organizational chart, comes down and then you have maybe I need this whiteboarding solution. Yeah. It's like I'm just thinking about it. Yeah, there should be something like that. Oh, there, that's let's write this down. Whiteboard. Anyway, board. Anyway, so we wrote it down. So anyway, yeah, it's just crazy. So you come up with these features, and then, as I said, these features can now be broken down into user stories. And user stories is just these small bite-sized things that developers can work on, that they can size, and then they can put the different stories together to make a feature, and the features together to make an epic. So I kind of went off rail, but basically, software requirements are a list of to-dos that are needed to be accomplished, things the developers needs to build so as to build the desired software. Why am I? You might be wondering why I'm doing, but I'm frozen on my side, and I want to make sure that I'm not frozen holistically, because then I'd just be talking, and that's not cool.